Now, Rick, I know you're a big trivia fan. I know you're obsessed with trivia. And I thought to myself, well, how can I entertain Rick on Saturday?
Go on.
So I was wandering around on the web looking for trivia, basically, that could entertain you. And you're a big animal trivia fan.
I love animal facts.
There's not much that you don't know about animals.
Oh.
But here's
You're going to catch me out now, aren't you?
No, well, I don't know. Here's one. I don't know if you've heard this one before. Ants never sleep.
No, I know. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And
it's easy for you to say
and they've got alcohol in their blood, so they don't freeze and winter. And that's why you never see a lazy ant. It's always working. It's drunk, but it's always working.
They never sleep, but they do take a lot of fag breaks.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I think it's 'cause they can't sleep because it's like noisy neighbours. There's about 1 million of them living sometimes in a room, and it must be very... But you see them carrying a leaf, and they see someone else, and they go, do you want a hand with that? And they go, don't be silly, you're carrying some 8 times your body weight as it is. He goes, well, you know, I've got another pair of hands free. Yeah. Give you a hand. Yeah, they're great.
No, they're incredible. They're incredible.
Yeah, I knew that one next.
Okay, well, right, this is one I'm throwing right at you as well, Carl. There's only one bird that has a penis.
It's not a joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. This is a genuine trivia question.
I'd say... Oh. I'll say... I think I've seen one on this. Is it an ostrich?
Right, you're going for ostrich, Carl?
I'll go for ostrich as well.
Right. Did you come up with that yourself, or...?
Yeah, I was going to say that before you said it.
Well, guys, you went for ostrich.
Chicken?
You're both wrong. It's actually the swan.
The large chicken.
Yeah.
What? That's a bit worrying then, because I thought I saw an ostrich penis, so what was I looking at?
I don't know, were you just examining it closely at the zoo? What were you...
I was just...
It's probably a strap-on.
It was probably 2 leather ostriches giving each other one.
Exactly.
And that's how that can influence people. Things like that. Dirty, filthy leather ostriches can
confuse a child if he's at the zoo and he doesn't know.
A swan's got... That's really annoying. I'd never give a swan a knob. So it's the little puffiest of all birds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, protected by the queen. But I need a knob. If I had to give a knob to any bird,
Good question.
I
wish I'd posed that myself. If you could give a knob to any bird, what would it be? Phone in.
Vulture.
Well, of course a vulture.
They need a
big veiny bang stick.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Carl? If you could give a knob to any bird? And don't make it rude, or if I could give a knob to any bird,
what
I'd make
bird
it
do you see with suiting up? It's got to be a bird of prey or something like that, hasn't it? Cool.
Just a robin, really.
That would be amazing.
That would be Christmas cards would be like...
yeah, but it's a normal human-sized knob on a robin. That'd be great, wouldn't it? And the other thing annoying about this is ironic, right? Now, the male of all bird species they're called cock.
Yes.
Right. But the only bird with a cock, right, is called a cob.
Is that what a swan's called?
Yeah, they're cob and pen. They're not cock and hen.
That's annoying.
And he isn't a cock, but he's got a cock.
Yeah. Yeah. Quick query there, Rick.
Go on.
When you said then cock, presumably you meant male bird the first time you said it.
Yeah.
The second time you said it, you said cock. Do you mean the penis?
Well, you're showing off the whole farce of radio broadcasting.
Because you're not really allowed to say cock.
No, exactly, no. One cock would cause great offence.
Yeah.
The other cock's fine.
Exactly.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is strange. It is strange. So, I mean, if I said now to you, you know, oh, I like cocks.
Yeah.
Meaning birds.
Yeah, that's
that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But if I meant penises, it would be a problem.
If you like cocks and it was yeah, that would be...
Carl, do you like cocks? Do you like cocks?
No.
Right, okay, that's fine. I was asking if you like...
No, I like, you know...
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of, tits.
The small birds that come down and peck at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like tits and cocks. There's nothing...
Tits and cocks.
There's nothing wrong with... There's nothing... Carl, don't worry. There's nothing wrong with saying tits and cocks.
When I said tits, I meant the little birds.
Yeah,
and when I said cocks, I mean the big birds.
This week's Ricky Gervais film review is Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book?
Yeah.
That was made in, what, 1968?
I don't know, but listen, shut up, right? It's a good review, right? Right, for people who either have heard it or haven't, you know, you might learn something.
Sure.
Because it's sort of my take on it.
Has the review begun yet, or...?
No, it's good from now, yeah?
Okay,
go. Right, the little kid, he's the jungle, right, but he knows the bear and the panther, they're good friends, but it's dangerous because you got to watch out the tiger and the snake. Now, the reason is, they don't mind him, but he's human and he can make fire, they can't. That's why he's sort of in demand, even though they've conquered the power of speech, they can't make fire, and then, the orangutan gets him. Now... He's in trouble, but the bear puts coconuts on and makes himself look like it. Then they fall off. They've got to get away, but then he meets a girl, and then they're not, you know.
Okay. Do you write these yourself?
Yeah.
Or you don't get a professional to do it? Right.
Oh, no.
Okay. And what would you give that one out of 5?
It's 9.
That's a 9 out of 5. Strong review there. A strong film then for you.
One again.
And you'd recommend that for friends and family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just on video or DVD or in the cinema.
Okay, good. All right, and the film again was?
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. Jolly good. All right, thanks very much for that.
Again, I broke the rules in the week. I met up with Carl. I had lunch with him. And we were chatting and having a cup of tea. And it got onto one of Carl's favourite programmes, was the Tales of the Unexpected.
Ah, of course.
And all I can think is that he's probably the only person in Britain where they were unexpected. I mean, to him, when that twist came in, you go, gee, I can't...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Can't believe
So
it.
it was the tree that did it. And I mean, he was probably the only... And we were telling all these stories of horror, and he liked horror stories. And I told him this story. And I don't know if this had come across on the radio, but I told him this story. It was a short. It was a horror short.
This was a film you saw, was it?
Yeah, yeah. And what it was, it started off, just there'd been a car crash. You see, it's a horrendous wreck. And you saw it from the point of view of the person in the car. And he was calling for his mate, and he was going, Dave... And he sort of looked over and saw a body without a head that had been thrown. He goes, "Oh no, Dave, Dave!" And then into the field of view came Dave, his mate, and looked at him with a look of horror. And then it sort of went black, and you realised that he was just a head, and it had been his body.
Oh wow!
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, then it came up at the end, at the executions in the French Revolution, people experience consciousness for, you know, and he went, oh. No, he said, it wouldn't be for that long. And then he went, if it was a chicken, it would work. Imagine remaking that film, but it's two chickens in a horrendous car crash.
Their own fault for driving.
It would work. No, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, it was too long. I think he said, how long was this film? I went, about 5 minutes. He went, no. It would work if it was a chicken.
I like the way that Carly and something like when you relate an incident like that, he's appalled and offended and annoyed by the people that made it, even though he's never seen it.
Oh, he's annoyed. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite Tales of the Unexpected, one that you remember particularly that shook you up?
Yeah, we were talking about the one on where there's some woman in prison. Have you seen that one?
No, I can't remember them all.
Right. This woman's in prison.
Yeah.
And she gets a bit friendly with the guy who takes the dead bodies out.
Right.
And he said, I can get you out of here. He said, what you've got to do, right? You've got to, at midnight...
When you hear the bell toll, that means there's been a dead body.
Yeah, there's been a dead body. So what you've got to do is go into, like, the place where all the dead bodies are, get in the first coffin on the right, and then I'll come along and carry you out, and you can run away and escape, right? So she goes, yeah, all right then. So she hears the bell go.
I'll bury you, right? And then I'll come back later and dig you up.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the
that
point.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Trust me, Carl. It
All right,
really
then,
matters.
okay.
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to ruin this for people at home.
Yeah.
Can I just skip to the end? I would imagine that she gets buried and he doesn't come back, and she has to get buried alive.
Better than that. So she gets in the coffin, and she's lying there for ages.
She's buried.
She can feel a bit of movement going on, so she's obviously, being carried somewhere. So she's thinking, this is it, I'm getting out. And she's lying there for ages and thinking, why ain't someone coming and lifting the lid off this? Do you know what I mean? Letting me get out. So she's really bored. She gets a lighter out, right? Lights it to have a look at who she's lying on. It's only the fella who said he'd help escape.
Oh.
Oh.
How bad is that?
That is... How bad is that?
So it is quite important that she's buried alive then, isn't it? In retrospect, you realise that the jeopardy is that she's buried alive and can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it so much worse, doesn't it, than just like lying in the morgue and going, actually, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work.
Look at Carl's face. Having told that, he's so pleased. His face is lit up. He's beaming like a child.
Have you seen any?
Is that your favourite horror thing ever?
What was that one you told me about with the porn? That was a good one.
Oh, this was fantastic, right? Right. There was this...
Sorry, can I just check now? We're just remembering classic episodes of the Tales of the Unexpected.
This is important. Well, I saw one, right? I saw one on Tales of the Unexpected, right? And it was these two gents. What they used to do, they look down the obituaries and they'd blackmail the wife or the son of a dead eminent person, like might be a priest or a doctor, something like that, and they'd go and they'd say, he bought some erotic stuff from us before he died, and he owes 100 guineas and all this sort of stuff, and they'd pay up because it'd be so embarrassing. They just didn't want them, so they'd just pay him, right? And this one bloke said, who are these people? I'll meet with them. And he goes round there, and he goes round, And they go, your father. He goes, my father could not have bought any erotic material from you. They did it. He goes, he couldn't have. He's blind. Right, and that was the twist. And Carl went, so it was magazines, not videos then.
Yeah. Now think about it, Steve. Is that so stupid?
Well, presumably it was set in olden times because
Yeah.
people, professional
right.
pornographers don't tend to call it, erotic material.
Yeah.
They tend to call it, juicy jugs or whatever. But more than that, I don't understand how a video is going to be any use to a blind person either. I know that you can hear the sound,
Yeah.
Carl. Look at him nodding like he's caught me out.
Yeah, what sound will you hear? Do, 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 do. Your meter needs looking at? Yes. Cut. What's then? What's that? Then it's just noises, isn't
Occasional
it?
groans.
Yeah.
Right.
You could
Okay.
listen through the wall at your neighbours.
He does.
I mean, that's why I save a lot of money. But I thought you were going to point out, Carl, that they could have had a Braille porno. Now, have
Yeah.
you thought of that?
Look, feel the lumps on that.
Exactly. Think about it, Carl.
Think about it.
You're excited now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's away, Carl.
Yeah, the cheese grate has only entered the cupboard. How did baguettes come about? If this is going to be someone cooked a loaf a bit wrong and said, I can still make a sandwich out of it, I'm going to hit you.
No.
Go on then.
Right. Napoleon, when he was at war and that with Russia,
1812, yeah.
yeah, all his soldiers were like, not used to the cold weather and that. So they said, take some clothes in your bag with you because it's going to be
Chilly.
nippy
Yeah.
out there. So they put all the clothes in the bag.
Sure.
Do what they were told.
Thought, oh,
It's Napoleon, for Christ's sake.
No
Uncle.
room for any food.
No room for
You're
any-
joking.
So
Couldn't they make some sort of like sandwich?
no, it wouldn't fit because of all the clothes. You had to take extra gear.
Sure.
for them. So anyway, he said,
I can see where
know.
this is going. I'll be honest.
Is there a baguette-shaped gap left in their holdall?
They thought, let's make some bread that you can fit down your trouser leg.
What?
That's not true! No, it's not, Carl!
I read it in Euston train station. I was waiting to go back to Manchester.
Where did you read
What,
these?
scrawled on the wall in graffiti?
Yeah.
Do you know the
Was it also meet me here for cock fun at 12 o'clock?
The upper crust sandwich shop, Euston station. It's on the wall.
What do you mean it's on the wall?
Do you know how it says like sail on at Dixon's, whatever?
Yeah.
Next to that, there was like a bit of information. Once you've read the stuff on Dixon's,
Baguette information.
there was a big thing about the history of the baguette. I read it and I thought,
Wait a minute.
No,
so
we got to make a sandwich we can fit down our trouser leg.
But how can you march and fight with a huge piece of bread down your track?
Although it would be intimidating. You see them coming, you go, sacre bleu, look at the size of them. They're big fellas. Well,
Blimey. I can't help but feel that could be a practical joke at your expense.
yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Well, the Earl of
Do you ever
Sandwich...
question anything you read? If it's printed up, is that
Yeah.
like fact for you then?
Well, it's not funny. I mean, if they were trying to be funny, it's like, it's not, is it? So it's information.
Have you heard us? Things sometimes want to be funny when they're not.
That's exactly what happened with the sandwich. The Earl of Sandwich wanted something he could fit down his pants. And it was those triangle cut sandwiches wrapped in cling film were perfect. You might be right. You might be right.
I am.
Because the Cornish pasty is so they could drop it down the mines, isn't it?
Is it?
They wrapped it up they wrapped up like meat and vegetables in pastry, and they sort of crimped it, and it was like and they dropped it down the mine. So, yeah, that's how that came about.
And bagels were originally made so that people could play hoopla, but then eat afterwards. I don't know if you're aware of that. That is true, Carl.
Well,
I
anyway,
call my bluff. Is one of them true?
yeah,
They're all true.
They're all true.
Really?
Tell your kids that when you have them.
Yeah.
The XFM Vault. The Ricky Gervais Show featuring Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
XFM.
Someone phoned up to confirm they used to work for Upper Crust, and basically Carl got all excited. So it is true. She went, well, I don't know if it's true. I've read the same sign you did, Carl.
Interestingly, there's an email here that says, which basically offers a history of the baguette, and talks about after the revolution, the government decreed that all of France must eat the same bread, and it was up to the bakers to bake this bread of equality. And then Napoleon kind of made sure it was a particular. He kind of set in.
Obviously, on the bread, you can eat anything you find in the garden: frogs, snails, bits of horse,
But
squid.
the interesting thing is, Rick, that there's no mention of sticking it down your trousers whilst going to war.
The French have tried to keep that secret for over 100 years,
It was only
Steve.
the upper crust people. that
Yeah,
managed to,
nearly
yeah,
200 years. That is a top secret. Somehow Euston Station upper crust got hold of a document left behind in an old sea chest, possibly Napoleon's, could have been Josephine's. Unfortunately, jotted it down. He's kicking himself now. Oh, Secret, I cannot believe I left a note. If he talked like that.
He did.
He did that. Yeah, he talked English, but in a very funny French accent.
Do you remember, there was one thing that, talking about funny French accents, you remember Allo Allo?
Yeah.
Remember, it was on about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but they still meant, because it was a funny Frenchman, it was that English guy who was posing as a French police officer.
It's very complicated
He
plot.
would often walk by, and I remember there was one where he said, I was pissing by the door when I heard a shit.
Oh yeah.
Now, that's
passing
I'm allowed
by
to
the
say
door.
that. I'm allowed to say
passing
that.
by the door when I heard a shot.
That's what he's saying. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to say that at 2 o'clock because that I'm just saying I'm talking in a French accent.
Yeah.
I was pissing by the door when I heard a shit.
Yeah.
That's fine
Yeah.
because I'm speaking French, Carl.
Do you know
understand?
what I mean?
That's the rule.
Do you know why people tink the glasses before they have a drink?
Why they tink? The verb to tink.
I do know that, Carl. Is it about poison?
It is.
Here we are.
What would it make a different noise?
Oh,
Brilliant. Go on, explain.
Why?
it,
you
Carl.
explain it, Steve.
No, don't Steve. You explain it, Carl. Come on.
Oh,
I've
you-
started, so I'll finish. Come on, Carl. Explain why they tink the glasses.
Ages ago,
Yeah.
only people with money had drinking or something.
That's like one of my film reviews. Years ago. Welcome to History Now. Now, ages ago, only people with money had drinking or something.
Keep going, Carl.
Keep going.
Like spirit and stuff. So they'd it's like businessmen with money.
It's easy for you to say. This is getting to be cruel, isn't it?
This is amazing.
Yeah, go on.
Why
Go
did
on.
you open your mouth, Carl? What were you hoping was the best that could happen?
Because you were trying to make me look stupid before with the planet. So
Whereas you now.
Yeah, go on, no, come on. Businessmen with money. I've got to drink, I'm ching. Okay, so then with all the drink.
So they'd nip round to have a chat about the whatever they're earning money with, and they'd say, "Right, do you want a drink then?" And they'd go, "Oh yeah, that'd be all right." So
yeah.
rather than like just pouring it out of a bottle into a glass and saying, "There you go," it could be going, "Hang on a minute," it could be poisoning me ear and trying to like nick my business idea.
Yeah.
So what they'd do, it sort of pour a bit of his drink into the other person's glass, and you get that tink noise, and that's like cheers, you know.
No, Carl, I just have a slight amendment there. I think what it was you're absolutely right that they would then test each other's drinks to show that it wasn't poison. But over the years, that was reduced to just chinking the glasses by way of saying, let's not actually bother going through the whole rigmarole. They just did the
Yeah.
chinking of the glasses
Yeah,
as
well,
a kind of symbolic way of saying it.
Yeah, that's good.
It's exhausting though, wasn't it?
I know.
Was it worth it, do you think?
Well, I like that because people carry that with them now. When they do that, they'll think, oh, that bloke's definitely not trying to poison me.
Yeah.
So the horrible thing is that now, when I do the glasses, I can laugh and go, they don't know I've poisoned them.
Exactly.
You should always do the pouring back and forth. It's a shortcut. It's a slippery slope. You know, just be careful.
There was a story I heard in the week, I think it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details, but what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
Nobody came back and Tony Blair met him and go, all right, well, not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, if there was people shooting at us and everything, it was all muddy. Well, calm down, don't cry. Well, I will cry.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, "Look at you, stupid boy! Where's this
he's
gun's
got
not
trained,
clean?" I
hasn't
just
he?
cleaned the gun and it was fine, and now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, and the boots, they were shiny.
fine, he
Well,
was
he's
showing.
got to do that. It's more
His
distant.
neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they, you know.
I
it's
don't know
like-
what the ins and outs of it are, but
what you got to do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do. You got to check the small print. So if I was, going over to like the Falklands or the Gulf, I'd put my hand up and go, will it be horrible? I go, you hear the back, yes? Will it be horrible? It will be horrible. Yes, it will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right. I'm not going to go. And I go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
that should be fine. Yeah.
Should be fine, yeah. Just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay, then we won't send anyone then.
My brother went into the army, right? Because he couldn't get a normal job, and my dad said, you know, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son. You're going in the army. And, so when was the Falklands? Was it about
81?
Right, and he joined back in like 81 or something. And he I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote back to my mum saying, you know, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote.
What bad time to join? That's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad. Yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining a month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, "Can you leave him out of this one?
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined," and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, "How are you, Chuck?"
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to like, my brother, your mum, you know, she's called up and asked if you can not go, which, of course, you know, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But can you tell
What
her,
do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
probably because he was new.
What?
Because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the
your brother.
sergeant.
I don't know, maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go, no.
You can't do it.
But that's ludicrous.
I love it though. Okay, we went over the top. Pilkington,
No,
I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay, no, this seems to be in order.
Because I noticed it says, I do not want to go into the army, I don't want to go and fight, and it's crossed out and it says, my mum says don't
Yeah.
go. Now, you didn't write this yourself,
No,
did you,
no, my mum
Pilkington?
wrote this. Okay,
You definitely wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're going to have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go, but I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, oh.
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh no, I was
But were the other soldiers going around just going,
Pilkington.
No, he ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for going for a packet of fags in a tank.
what?
Now wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops
Yeah.
in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've
Honest to
made that up.
God. That, and he went off with the sergeant's wife. So that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum going, let him up. He goes, oh God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sergeant. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time. This
Wow.
is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was
Did
quite
your
young.
mum phone up and say, let him off?
Let him
poor
off this
marshal him.
time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years. But ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble and that. And the army, you know, people slag it off. But I think if you're a certain type of person, it's good for
It
you.
didn't straighten him out, did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank, he was shagging someone
No, but
behind their back.
it's
Yeah.
really weird. It's like back then, he was like a proper adult and he had a house and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now, he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No,
Has he got the crystal?
don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the
I
house.
seriously haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years.
Oh,
So
so
I haven't even spoken
it
to
always
him.
Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the... phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vets and have him put down, because it's just too stressful. Just to recap, Carl is 30 this year. He never went to get his results of his GCSEs. So myself and Steve took it upon ourselves to phone his school, track them down, and we actually got your results. What did you think you took?
Did English,
Right.
maths,
Yeah.
art,
Right.
and I think I did physics.
Okay. Well, you didn't do any of them.
Eh?
You didn't do any of them. You didn't register. You registered for one exam and took one exam and got results for one exam. So I don't know what you thought you were turning up to, or you weren't registered, or you didn't.
You're familiar with the notion of registering for an exam? You have to kind of officially register in order to be eligible.
What do you mean, register? I turned up for a couple.
Yeah, you can't just show up. You have to register for them.
You have to pay this because it costs the school money, so they have had to have paid for you if they thought you were going to pass. You can't just turn up on the day and ask for some paper at the front.
I never got a letter telling me that.
Well, that's because you were never at school.
But you did somehow register or registered for one exam. You registered for history.
It's a topic that you've always been interested in.
Oh, I was saying to Ricky before, World War II, I loved it.
Not the actual event.
No,
the
but
study
just
of it. You
all
mean?
the stuff like, about the Anderson shelters and stuff like that.
Yep.
And the bombs and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I took it, it had nothing to do with that. It was more about the Tudors.
So the Second World War didn't come up. You mean there were no questions about the Anderson shelters?
Nothing.
That's devastating.
So
what are you expecting the result to be?
is that it?
Yeah, it's the only one you took and registered.
As far as the school is concerned, or certainly in
it's the
terms
only
of
one
what
that
they told
counts.
us.
It's the only result. It's the only one that counts. Yeah, you've got.
I don't. Did you register for yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got certificates and everything.
So what do you do that before the exam? Do you have to go somewhere and sign something, or?
Yeah, you don't check your results and then decide if you want to register. It's not like Millionaire when you look at the question and go, I think I'll take the money.
Yeah.
You go.
No.
But anyway, you must have registered for one, or maybe your teacher put you in for it.
Well, I didn't do it. So
They must have
someone
been
else
confident.
registered
They
for
must
me.
have been confident. They must have thought your best bet was history.
Right. So, what did I get?
You got an E, which I think, technically, is a pass.
E.
It's a bad pass, but there's F
How
and there's
much
U.
longer
You're not going to be doing a
You,
PhD.
you can get an F, right, which is fail, and then a U, which is ungraded. Now, I don't know why the U exists, because F means you failed. U is like them going, you not only failed, but you wasted my time.
So,
We're annoyed
Yeah,
that you took
yeah.
this exam.
so who thought
you-
they'd register me to get an E?
well, they didn't.
Well, they
think
didn't.
you'd
I
get
think
any.
they were hoping. It was rather like you with the lottery. They were hoping
see-
for something better than
You
nothing.
see, I assumed that the man who registered for that thought he can scrape an E if Anderson shelters come up.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You've got. Now, what I'd like to do, Carl, is I've started your re-education. You've read a book on Rasputin. I'll be asking you a few questions about that later. I've got another book for you to read next week. Next week, I've got a
I'm
little.
not in the mood.
What?
Not in the mood.
Oh, come on! Look, what's that? What does that say?
It's that fella. It's the picture of the bloke who they used to use for Citizen Smith.
Yeah, Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was quite happy, I think, when he found out that Robert Lindsay was involved. He went, yeah, of course you can. No worries, yeah.
What
So-
are your feelings, Carl? What
do you think? Are you
emotions
depressed?
I'm just a bit annoyed because I'm sure I turned up for more, so it just wasted me time.
Listen, they don't matter.
I'm sure I
you're
did
doing.
more
You're
than
doing
one.
very well. You know, you can educate yourself. GCSEs are merely a step on the ladder to help you, not just for education, but they're more vocational than anything else. You're doing very well, and you're reading books. Don't worry about it. But
It's
can I
not a
suggest
concern.
something? But if you want, I'll pay for you to take history again.
Carl, we'd love to see you get a C or above. And
Well,
we're
I'll
willing
pay
to...
for you, and I'll get you some books. Right now, listen. We can let's get. I reckon. When are the exams? June.
Something like that, yeah.
We'll try and register next week, and I reckon you can get an A or B
I'm
history.
Busy, I'm
in
busy.
history. No, don't worry about it. It's just easy. I get you Brody's notes. If Heat magazine, they love you, Carl. They could probably sort something out. They could probably pay for a tutor. They got a lot of money. They sell a lot of magazines.
I mean, it is almost always, and you found that out, I discovered this, it's always the Tudors and Stuarts. There's no fear for them not coming up. Now, what do you already know about them? You must already know stuff about Henry VIII and Elizabeth.
No, because it's too long ago to even get interested in. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
Is that why you
relate
didn't-
To it.
Okay.
The Anderson thing. It was like, God, I bet my mum and dad were in an Anderson shelter. This is interesting.
What, when they-
Oh, my granddad would have had something to do with this. But the Tudors, it's like I don't know even if I had a family back then.
Play a record. If we come back.
Hang
to
on,
this.
hang
Sorry,
on, hang on.
Steve, sorry.
Just because I need to introduce the new feature.
Yeah.
For the
I
record.
don't know if I had a family back then.
Carl,
You're a
listen, let
genius,
me just
Carl.
ask you now, right? If you can finish this sentence, we've got a chance. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded.
Died. What is it?
We just need to do a little bit of work, but otherwise I think you're going to be fine. It's how you remember what happened to Henry VIII's wives.
They're little...
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded...
It's like spam. Support... What is it? Support, protection, anchorage, movement. That's how
You're
you
gonna that's nothing to do with the Tudors
No,
and
that's to
Stuarts.
do with the skeleton.
Yeah, see, no, we're not doing biology.
Mnemonics and acronyms and...
What happened to Henry VIII's last wife? Did she die, or did she not die? Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded...
Do you know that the only king that has got a moustache is... No. The only king that hasn't got a moustache is the King of Hearts on the playing cards.
See, I was going to say, this has backfired a little bit, because Carl is genuinely... I don't know if he's actually upset or embarrassed, but it doesn't matter. Why does it matter? You were 15 and didn't go to school.
If you were my friends, I think you would have just said, "Oh, we can't find them."
Why?
Because
you just wanted to know.
What to do with that?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's ridiculous. Do it again because you want to learn, because there's great things in the world to learn about. Don't worry. The GCSE is vocational. It's vocationally for a 15, 16-year-old to go on to do A-levels or whatever, or to get results. But you don't need that, because you've done very well. You don't care about the Tudors and the Stuarts. I mean, you know.
I mean, I've had a couple of jobs, not this one, because you don't need qualifications to get a job.
Obviously.
Yeah.
In the radio.
Yeah, obviously.
You're absolutely right.
But
Yeah.
ones that I have got in the past, I did, because I didn't collect them, I had to lie. And I didn't like go mad. I didn't say I had A's and stuff. But I didn't put history down because I didn't even know I did it. But like,
So it's a
physics,
bonus.
I kind of treated myself to like a D and a couple of C's and that. So it's like, well, he's not.
I love the fact that Carl even then was honourable. It's like, I'll at least put down the ones I think I took and lie, but the ones I didn't take, I won't lie about.
Yeah, and don't give yourself a B.
Exactly.
If they're going to find out you lied, give yourself a B next time,
It could
Carl.
backfire, couldn't it? I mean, my brother's a bit mental, and he used to do things like go for jobs and say, "Oh yeah, I've done this before," like being a mechanic, and he's never even picked up a spanner, and yet he'd have the confidence to go and try and fix cars. Well, I'm not that daft, but God, and he.
Who do you blame for this?
That's just an easy way out. I have to blame myself. Don't I?
Yeah.
What was the
Well-
teacher like?
Well, there's loads of different ones. I didn't like. I mean, the history teacher, it is my own fault, because with her, she was a bit mental, and I used to kind of stop the lesson by saying, "Oh, miss, tell us about your fireplace you've got that is made from a gravestone," because that's what
That
she
would
had.
stop any English teacher in their
No, 'cause-
tracks.
and she loved telling you about it. So
Yeah,
it was like, oh,
I learned
brilliant.
that from a
So
teacher,
that's what
yeah.
I didn't know about divorce, head loss, and all that.
Yeah.
Dandruff legs.
Because-
Horse head loss. Dandruff legs.
But remember now, divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. That's all you got to remember.
And what's that?
That's what happened to Henry VIII's various
In order.
wives. In order.
What does it spell out?
No, it doesn't spell out
spell anything, you just
it's
gotta
saying
remember
it.
the rhythm.
In order in which he married.
Yeah, but it helps. It's like when my mum taught me the alphabet. She taught me as like a song.
A,
And like
B, C,
Constanti-
D, E, F, G.
Yeah, constantly. No, not like that.
Huh.
That's how everyone else could do it, and I couldn't do it that way.
Right.
What
That
tune did she
A,
do
B,
it
C,
to?
D. It was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Spoke to Ricky and his friend Glyn about art. I just don't get it. Ricky had some odd pictures on his walls. I don't have any pictures up in my flat because of the mirrored wall. But I can't say I'm bothered. The mirrored wall, we should just explain what that is. When you moved into your flat, there was an enormous mirror on one wall, was that right?
We just got this flat, and it's not a big flat, so I think the people who had it before us, he was a gay fella, right? Which was a bit like, oh, so you've been doing with that mirror and that. But that
What?
was, no, just
What has he been doing with the mirror?
Well,
What's
it's
he
just
been
a
doing?
bit-
Why-
no,
what?
it's just because they're quite sort of experimental in it, aren't they? And
I don't know. What do you mean? What do they do?
Well, I wouldn't know anything about it, but go on.
No, what do you want? What?
no, I don't.
Experimental in what
What do you
way?
mean experimental?
I just mean, they'd be doing stuff.
What?
Whatever they do.
Chemistry,
What?
have a chemistry set out, they were doing experiments, what?
No, just doing what.
Singing "I Am What I Am" and just checking out
No, each
the
to
dance
their own. I'm
moves.
not having a go at anyone, but
What?
I'm just saying, like, they're doing what they're doing. Which
Carl, you're
is
not
annoying as
homophobic,
well.
are you?
Because,
You're not-
no, I'm not. I'm
Well-
not. This is why.
Why are you worried about what a little gay fella was doing in your flat before you got it in front of a mirror?
I wasn't worried about it.
Why
I
are you
mean,
thinking about what he's doing? Why are you fantasising what a little gay fella was doing in front of your mirror in your...
I'm not bothered. I'm just telling you why it was a bit odd that he had a mirror in there, right? But forget the history.
But you've got a mirror in there now, haven't you?
No, because what I did was I was going to take it down, and I thought, oh, it's a bit dangerous. This, you know, it could crack and
Because it's the
fall on
size
it.
of the whole wall, isn't it?
It took up a whole wall.
Right.
So like when he's moving about everywhere, he's got a good view of it and that. But he's got this full wall of mirror, and I thought, I can't take that down. And I thought, what can I do? So I've just put wallpaper on it,
Brilliant.
and it looks all right. You wouldn't know, what have you? But it means that I can't put any pictures up. That's all I'm saying. Because if I put a nail in,
And what don't you understand about art? What about art don't you understand? The concept? Specifics?
just the way some people like, you know, the ones you've got, where it's just like a block of colour on a bit of canvas. It's like, what's that?
Abstract. It's just abstract. It's you know, it's vibrancy of colour. It's a, you know, an attack on the senses. Or it could be, there could be something in there that you might see. You might not see first time round, or it could be, you know.
Yeah, but there's loads of stuff to look at without having to do that.
But
You've
that's
got
the point.
windows. I can understand if you had a cell and there's no windows and you want a bit of colour, but you've got
Oh,
a
yeah.
window to look out of, and you've got like just a big block of.
But I was
Colour on
explaining this to you, that the photograph where people before, you know, the art was photography. It was realistic, and you know, they had to make it look like the subject. But then when cameras came in, that's when people started
Yeah,
doing surreal stuff. And
I understand that.
Otherwise, there was no point to it. They had to find a new way to represent things that photography couldn't do as such.
No,
So-
that's like when we were in London having a shop around at Christmas, and there was that picture of fruit for 700 quid. It's like, well, just get some fruit. You know what I mean? You can get some real fruit for 3 quid.
Yeah.
I understand that, but there's nothing wrong with like having a. We'll get. Don't invent cameras then. One or the other. Do you know what I mean? That's what annoys me. Someone invents something, and then they go, "We've got to invent something else." Like the abstract thing. Why has someone gone? Oh, I can't have paintings anymore because.
Was it a Dali going melting clocks and stuff? No?
I mean, the first one was all right when he did the first clock, but then all the time he's just like, "Oh, I'll draw something and it's got a melting clock on it. I'll do a sheep. Put one of them on it."
Have you seen his lobster telephone?
That annoys me.
Why?
Because it's not. I mean, I think what annoyed me more with that is when I heard about how it happened. He had some artist mate round, right? And I don't know what happened. They were
okay.
they were eating.
That's a hell of an anecdote.
No, but they were eating. They were eating some food and what have you.
Yeah.
Lobsters?
And yeah, they were eating lobster.
Oh, right.
And
That's handy.
I don't know, the other artist, whoever it was, sort
Telephone?
of started saying, "Oh, you and your clocks and all that," right?
Brilliant.
And,
This didn't happen.
They
Yeah.
started arguing,
Yeah.
and he chucked some of the lobster.
Bollocks.
And it landed on the
It
phone.
bounced off his mate's head, went on the phone, and they both looked at each other like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And they brought out that phone as a bit of art. Things like that annoy me. Because
happen.
it was then just messing about.
That didn't happen.
Just telling you what I know. I saw his work. Each to their own, if that's what he's doing. I'm just saying, I'm not putting my stamp of approval on it.
Heaven forbid. Well, you know, as you mentioned in your diary, your favourite artist is Lowry, because you can look at them for ages and see someone different every time you look at it.
All I'm saying is, art should be there to tell a story, not just to have a splash of colour. We know colour's out there, there's loads of colour. We don't need to be reminded of it.
But colour's part of our evolution, and so it does something to us. Just like sounds.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do a picture,
Smells.
colour it in. Still use the colours, but draw something with it rather than just going, a bit of yellow, a bit of red. Like that when you've got just red and black. What's that meant to do?
Well, it does something.
What?
Well, I like it, I enjoy it, so it does something.
Yeah, you have it then. I'm just saying, I prefer it if it was something.
And so you, and what, let me just get straight, you had a mirror on one wall, so you padded that wall,
It's just
and
sort
you
of,
padded
it's
the
just,
others.
It's just sort of wallpaper on it.
Right.
Amazing.
And there's no other art in there,
Not
it's
allowed
just an empty cell.
Well, Suzanne would like some art. Just like Suzanne's not allowed to watch telly unless it's her favourite thing. Otherwise, she's got to talk to me about stuff. There's no art. There's no point. Just wallpaper.
I'm just saying, we've got three windows we can look out of,
Right.
right? Stop looking at the walls, look out the window.
Some new words have been introduced into the dictionary. Too many words. We should have some system where we can get rid of words if they aren't used a certain number of times.
Well, that we do.
They do die out, don't they, eventually?
Like what?
You don't have to use them.
No, but they don't, do they? They keep adding them. And I just worry about, you know, this is the problem with, like, your head can only hold so much, can't it?
Yeah.
It all very well when Adam and Eve was knocking about. There's no history, they don't have to remember anything. All I'm saying is, fine, bring out a new word, but once you bring out a new one, bin another one. The dictionary's getting bigger and bigger, no one's keeping an eye on it.
Well, I think they are.
They're not, they keep adding.
It doesn't grow. They don't just dig it up one day.
So-
It's got bigger. What have you done?
So you're
Left
happy,
it out.
You're happy for them to stick in iPod, let's say.
But
You
we
know.
can pride ourselves on having more words in the English language than any other language. I think we've got twice as many as the second. I think maybe Russian. I'm not sure about that. I saw someone email us, but
But we don't talk the most, so there's a lot of clutter there.
what do you mean we don't talk the most?
Well, you'd have to, you'd say
Nothing
that.
as expressive as the English language.
Yeah, no, because we've got a word for everything. I'm just saying that I don't use all these words that are coming out, and I just think, like I say, keep an eye on it. Some sort of, I don't know how it can be controlled.
But Shakespeare invented words. I think Shakespeare invented about 1,200 words.
Yeah, and we're probably still using a lot of his. So why do we keep sticking more in the pot?
Right.
Stop using loads of words.
People are panicking in New York about the snow they're getting. It's 2 foot deep. They're saying it's to do with global warming. I don't get it. 2 days ago they were saying the world's getting warmer and the ice is melting on one of the poles where the polar bears are. As long as we get snow on the world, does it matter where it goes? Read on the internet that heads are bigger now than they were years ago. Brains are getting bigger, apparently. This is because we're being told too much information. We are told too much stuff about things that we wouldn't have known about years ago. You've just made that leap, haven't you? Presume maybe heads and brains are getting larger, but the fact that it's because there's too much information cramming in them. Where
Well,
have you
it
got
is,
that from?
as time goes on, isn't it? It's that thing of, we're being taught more and more every day. As the time goes on, something's happening every day. You've got to remember that.
No, you haven't.
You have. It's the same, like I said, you know, with the Adam and Eve thing. They didn't have that much to remember. They come on the world, they go, what happened yesterday? Oh, not much,
My mum phoned and said that my Auntie Nora, the classic Auntie Nora, wanted me to look on the internet to find out what the weather will be like in Spain at the end of November. I don't know where she gets her money from. 2 months ago she was asking me dad how much it would be to get her back garden astroturfed, because she's sick and tired of the grass getting out of
What does
hand.
she want to do? Start a football team? What does she want a back garden astroturf?
She likes the sort of green look, but she doesn't like the headache that comes with it, so she's just looking into getting that false grass put in there.
Brilliant.
Don't know how much it is, but...
Went round to Ricky's and had some chicken curry that Ricky's girlfriend Jane had made. Ricky and Jane were going on holiday for a few days and had arranged for Glyn to come in and make sure the cat was okay while they were away. I'm sick of that cat. I was surprised that they hadn't paid for the little shit to go away with them on first class. Blimey, getting a bit vitriolic in the diary.
Why doesn't he like the fact that I've got a cat and I love the cat? Why?
It's just everything in that house that you've got gets sort of special treatment, and it's a cat, and it
What do you mean you
annoys
get
me.
special treatment?
Sometimes...
We put food down for it, and sometimes it gets on our lap and we stroke it.
You don't just stroke it,
We're
you
not sending
massage it. You massage its back, you go, no, you're stressed out.
Well,
you're
no, it's
stressed
good.
out."
No, I'm not saying you stressed out. At no point did I say you stressed out. You said, what the fuck are you doing for? Is it stressed out or something? I like touching my cat.
To be honest with you, I don't like Ricky's cat.
I can't believe
Because every time I go around there, it goes straight for my ghoulies.
yeah,
Instantly.
He'd probably seen you in the sea and thought, well, if he's waving it about, I'll have a bit of that.
But it's like the lizard thing you've got. It's just sat there, you've bought a big box, right, to be in.
Right,
And the
one,
last
it's a salamander, so it's an amphibian. It's
Yeah.
not a box, it's a big vivarium.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
And
is...
as it, and if you're going to criticise someone for just sitting there, having a round head and doing nothing with its life, people who live in glass houses,
No,
we've
but
done this one.
Do you know what gets me though, right, Steve? When I was there, I was looking at it, and I thought, is it dead? Right, because he's just sat there, like...
And it was thinking exactly the same fucking
He sat
thing.
there, not moving, right? And then on the top of the box is like a box full of crickets and stuff. That's it. It's its food.
Yeah.
Right? But they were more active than the thing that it was going to feed. Get rid of the lizards. Keep them in there. More entertaining. Don't understand it.
A few months back, a girl who was having a kid showed me one of them scans of the kid that was in her. That's science gone mad, innit? I couldn't think of anything nice to say, as it looked like a frog.
Do you know why we've got to that point?
What?
Why have we got to see something that young? Why?
Because people can keep an eye on the progress of the baby in the womb.
Yeah, but why are they printing it out and stuff? Surely that's for a doctor to see.
Well, that's just an added bonus for people who are interested in such
Well, that's
things.
like saying, why do you take pictures of anything?
No, because normally pictures are like, you know, in Brazil, sat in the sea or whatever. You'd go, oh yeah, I remember that day, it was a good day or whatever. But
It wasn't.
it's just kind of like, why have you got to see something? You might as well.
Well,
go
you
to the next-
just listen, why have you got to see something that small? So why would you take a picture of Steve in the sea?
No, but what I mean is, why? At what point are we going to stop? Are we going to start sort of X-raying the fella's testicles and saying, well, there it is at a really young age? Well, where are we going to stop?
It's just horses for courses, isn't it? Some people like to have a record of their baby in the womb. They
That's
like
right.
to show the baby. They're
They sit
excited
down-
about it.
They sit down and they show the friends the slideshow. That's
you
the
go.
birth. Oh, that's the conception. Oh, look, Ron's going a bit mad there, isn't he?
But why do I need to see this? This is what I'm saying. It was an awkward situation because she was happy with it. I was like, oh God. You know what I mean? It was an odd-looking thing. I couldn't say, oh, it looks like you, because that would be a diss.
Oh, Christ!
Met Suzanne at Euston Station. I said I would sort out the tea tonight, so I called the curry house. The fella couldn't understand me. I asked for 2 poppadoms. He kept saying, how many? I kept saying 2. He still couldn't understand. I said 1 more than 1. He understood. When we picked up the food and took it home, there were 5 poppadoms in the bag.
Oh, God! Oh, God.
There is a restaurant somewhere that sells knobs to eat.
No, there's not.
There is.
No, there's not.
No, there is.
It says that women can't eat too many of them, and if you want a seal's knob for dinner, you have to book in advance.
Right, it's gobbledygook. This is the ramblings of a madman again.
It's a trend, he writes. It won't last long. It'll be like hummus.
But hummus, when did that happen?
What do you mean it's still going? It's a Greek traditional food.
I know, but there's a restaurant down the road that's all they do. That isn't a proper meal. That's a side order, isn't it? That's like having a restaurant just flogging tomato ketchup. Hummus isn't a meal. They don't even try and kid you and get you in and flog you just hummus. They actually say it's hummus today. Not going to work. Be shut down within a month.
Called Ricky and asked what the difference is between the mind and the brain.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
a hell of a phone
Yeah,
call to get.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Ricky did explain, but I can't remember what he said. I wondered at what age you are when the mind kicks in. Okay. Ricky changed the subject and said there is an island called Spider Island. There's nothing but spiders on it. A bloke went to visit the island and said there was 1,000 types of spider in one tree.
Yeah.
Excited by
I
that?
didn't tell you that.
No, I looked it up after talking to you.
Oh, right, is that true?
Yeah, they just said there's loads of them.
What do you think about that? What do you think of an island that's just full of spiders?
It's a bit daft, isn't it?
What do you think they should do then?
I don't know, because you need spiders. I don't know what they do, but they say a world without spiders, like, wouldn't be good.
Who says that?
I don't know, someone. But they sort of do something. There's something about if you did get rid of them all, it would have an effect.
Well, of course it would. Get rid of anything, it'd have an effect.
Not everything, though. Like I've said, you know, jellyfish and what have you.
Well, no.
The world wouldn't change.
Well, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, it would, because it's part of an ecosystem, so they're some things food, aren't they?
No, but it's 97% water or something.
Yeah.
So how much are they doing? Just give them another 3%, make them water. And that's more useful.
Give them another 3% and make them water. Oh, God.
The rain ain't stopped. The old woman with the bent neck. Now, we've not heard about the old woman with the bent neck
Who's the
before.
old one
She's
with
a
the
whole
bent
new
neck? What's
character.
this? Incredible.
She's really old.
And she's got a bent neck, yeah, but tell us something else.
I don't know what's up with her, but her head sort of comes out of here.
No, it's radio. They can't see what you're
Sort
doing.
of comes out of a chest. So from behind, it looks like she hasn't got an head. It's really weird, right? I mean, she's old, and I don't know what's happened. Just Suzanne said it's sad, and the bones have sort of bent up or something, or maybe she carried something heavy when she was younger.
On her head.
and you know, I don't know, it's sad and everything.
Yeah.
But she's just she's wandering up and down the street. Always looks fed up, but you can see of her. You have to sort of bend down a little bit. But her head's just. I thought I'd told you about.
She finds a lot of change.
I said, yeah.
Well, as you write in the diary, the old woman with the bent neck is struggling in the weather. The rain must be running down her back. Don't know why she went out in this weather. Me back's doing me head in today. It does this every time the weather turns a bit grim, ever since I tried to kick me height. Oh, remember that? We've heard this before. Kicked me height and landed on me arse. Was going to treat Suzanne to a trip to the pictures to see Breakback Mountain, but then remembered there is a programme on about two-headed kid tonight. A band from the Conga have won the Best Newcomers in a Radio 3 competition. They use pots and pans for instruments. It says that the Conga is a poor, sad place, so why do people do that happy dance at the end of parties called the Conga?
Right, one is the Congo. There's no place called the Conga. They come from a place called the Congo. Where do you come from? Okie dokie. It's a terrible place that we don't know whether to put our left leg in or our right leg in. Sometimes we shake it all about.
We're not sure if we should.
But Conga! Fucking hell, you're such a...
Went into the gadget shop today. It's full of stuff that we don't need. Gadget used to be a good word that made you think of James Bond with all his gadgets. The best thing I could find in the shop was a clock that ran on potatoes. We are definitely going backwards.
I agree. Well, who cares about that? You know, a little electrical impulse, so what?
Had a night out with old schoolmate. Found out about more of the other lads I went to school with. One is living underground.
What do you mean living underground? Not like a mole. Do you mean he's got a basement, or do you mean he digs a hole every night?
My mate went to visit him and he said it had been raining really heavily and that, and it's all the rain's running in.
What do you mean he went to visit him? He went down here? What's that? That's an hole in the ground. Yeah, come in.
He just said, oh, come round and see us, and he's living underground.
What do you mean he's living underground?
He wanted to be in the army but was turned away, and that's the closest thing you can sort of...
How is that similar to
that's exactly like the army, yeah, where they teach you trades and, you know, engineering and flying.
He's happy down there. He said it was really muddy and what have you. He said he won't be going back to visit him.
What's he got down there?
Just stuff, just like a sleeping bag, a lamp.
He's dug himself a subterranean cave.
Near my old infant school, they knocked it down because it was like a wreck. You'd be in the class and you could lean on the wall.
Yeah,
and your hand would go through it and stuff. And they knocked it all down, and I think that's when he was at his most happy, this bloke.
I believe this, though. I believe someone he went to school with now lives in a hole. That doesn't shock me. Whether the tales I've heard of horses in houses and big-headed kids with webbed hands and feet, you know, and him, I believe that someone he went to school with now lives in a hole. That isn't bizarre to me.
You spent far too long with him, if that, now you're just happy to accept.
I totally accept that. I'd be surprised if I walked round where he lived that there weren't more people living in holes. His dad wanted to throw his budgie on the fire.
True.
His budgie died, his dad said, let's throw it on the fire. I mean, his mum, what did your mum do when your budgie died?
She just was worried about the other bird that was left, so she made it a bit of company by getting a rock, getting a feather off the dead budgie, sticking it on the rock, putting it in the cage.
So, a man living in a hole is not that bizarre. Right, carry on.
I read me science magazine. Some things I learnt from the science magazine. Number 1, space is running out of space. We should stay out of the sea because shark attacks are up.
Yeah, probably 4 a year now.
Well, he just says here, we should just stop going in the sea.
Yeah.
There's no need for it.
Exactly.
Why is there no need for going in the sea?
Just because there isn't now, is there? We've got loads of land. So just, you know, one or the other. We walked out the sea. Now, this is what I mean about going backwards. Getting back in it again. We came from the sea originally, now we're going back in it. Don't go in it. Unless you're in a boat.
The rules, according to Karl Pilkington.
The rules of Karl Pilkington.
Oh, God.
Did the podcast and then went for a walk round Manchester Square. Years ago, a woman lived round there who had a head like a pig. She was known as the Pig Woman of Manchester Square. That made me think if there were other pig-headed women knocking about London.
Do you know what I mean? Why was she nicknamed that? Why not just the pig-headed woman? That suggests to me like there was loads of pig-headed women, and that's the one of Manchester Square.
Right.
Well, no, it was more to do with identifying her, not amongst other Piccadilly women, but go, have you seen the pig woman of Manchester Square? I.e., go down there and see the pig woman, it's in Manchester Square.
What happens if she's walked off from there, though, and you go, well, no, but I saw one on New Cavendish Street.
No,
Is that the same woman?
she'll always come back if you rattle the feed.
Watched a film about Hitler. Didn't watch all of it as it was subtitled. Can't be doing with that. Asked Suzanne if cinemas are full of deaf people when they're showing subtitled films. She said, shh, I'm trying to watch it. I said, what do you mean, shh? It's subtitled, I can make as much noise as I want.
Yeah.
She's a lucky, lucky woman.
You must be a joy to watch a subtitled film. I mean, the concentration is up there already. I mean, it is hard to concentrate. It's not as easy as when you're hearing it, because you read things, but it's possible. If you had a buffoon going, I'm just gonna sit here and make as much noise as I want, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What is the point of that? I mean, it's possible, but why do that in a cinema? Just walk into a subtitled film and go, right, everybody? Let's all do the conga.
Well, yeah, or during ballet. Ballet, they're just dancing. You don't need to listen to the words, just have a conversation. We're having our bathroom done. The bathroom man was round at 9 this morning. We weren't allowed to use the shower because it all had to be bone dry before we could use his waterproof filler. Not that waterproof, then. Went for a brew with Ricky. We talked about monkeys and how they are closer to humans than they are to apes, and how bees will drink cider to get off their heads. Now and again there is a bee that lets the drinking get in the way of the work, and other bees sting it to death. Blimey.
Yeah, well, there's bees. They love a drink, and they will drink pure alcohol. They drink 100%. They drink ethanol. I don't know why. They love getting off it, and they fall down and they're drunk, right? A bee can take in the equivalent of 20 litres of wine, right? But some bees get addicted in the same sort of percentage as human addiction, like 10% of bees, they can't get enough of it. They take ethanol, they take cider apples and that, and then when they get back to the hive, they go in a bit pissed, and they've got guard bees, and they go, come on, we've all had a drink.
Bouncers.
Yeah. They sort of are, right? And they push them away, and they push them away again, then the next time they go, right, I've had enough, and they give it a good hiding. And Carl couldn't get over this. I saw his face, but I knew that he was thinking of that bee with sort of like eyes rolling round his head, a little bit belligerent with his jacket on backwards.
Yeah.
And the bouncer going, come on, son, we've all had enough, let's move away,
Yeah.
move away.
You're not coming in, right? You're wearing trainers.
Yeah, you're wearing 3 pairs of trainers, and I'm sick of it,
But what I did find out, because I went home and went on the computer trying to find out about drunk bees knocking about, they're not actually meant to fly. It's only because they don't know.
Fly.
Well, no, but they're if they were told that you're not actually designed to fly, they wouldn't bother.
No, this is that thing that goes around that aerodynamically, on the face of it, looking at the size of the wings and the body proportions and everything, that it's a surprise that they can fly. Okay, it's not that no one's ever told them they can't, and as soon as someone tells them you're not meant to fly, they all fall out of the sky going, oh, what are we doing? Like in a cartoon.
No, but it's something about the confidence and that. At the moment, nobody's saying
It's nothing to do with the confidence. There is no such thing as confidence in bees. A bee never loses its nerve. That's not why it drinks. Because what are you drinking for? I'm just not confident anymore. There's no point to turn to the bottle. I can't go up there again. You're an idiot.
Suzanne said today can be my day because she has been a bit of a pain with her illness and that. So she said I can do what I want today. We went for a walk around Green Park. Loads of tourists were about looking at the Queen's house. She was in because the flag was up. I wouldn't want to live there. Why wouldn't you want to live there? Just because it's right in the centre of town?
It's just not in a good place, is it? It's got a roundabout outside and that.
Really busy.
It's pretty good.
I went for a pee in the toilets. When I came out, a pigeon had shat on Suzanne's coat. She was in a bit of a mood about it. A bird shat on my ear once. I left it for about 10 to 15 minutes until I got home. I washed it off, and in that 10 to 15 minutes, it had corroded me ear.
He's had a lot of problem with ears. He told me the other day, he got up, washed, had a bath, had some breakfast, went to the shops to get a newspaper and had a chat with a woman in the corner shop, got home, pottering around, looked in the mirror, he had a cotton bud sticking out of his ear. He went, what annoyed me was she didn't say anything. Like it's her responsibility.
Yeah.
No, but she knows me well enough to sort of, go, you got a cotton bud in your ear.
No, she knows you well enough to go, Carl's got a cotton bud in his ear, I've seen worse.
When you've got a cotton bud in your ear, what interrupted
I think Suzanne called or my dad called or something, and then because I was running a little bit late because I'd been talking to them, the earbud was in, I just popped my coat on and went to the shop.
Carl, you got a toothbrush in your mouth. Oh.
Walked through Covent Garden. There were 5 of them mimes knocking about. I don't understand why people take pictures of mimes. Everyone looks like a mime in a picture.
That's so true. That's really true. If the point is they're staying still, if that's their skill, a picture won't tell that story. That's absolutely true.
My dad took the cat to be put down today because it kept bumping into things since losing its sight. My mum said she's not going to get another one. She said the parrot is looking worried as it's seen the budgie and the cat go in the space of 3 months.
Your mum said the parrot's looking worried. What happened to the cat then?
It gets into a lot of fights. It lost one eye, and then it got into another fight and lost another.
Oh,
and it was just walking around bumping into stuff. I mean, the vet sort of said, oh, we can do stuff to keep it alive and all that, but it's a bit out of order, isn't it? Because it costs a fortune, they shouldn't tell you.
But
Mum and Dad can't afford to have eyes put on it and stuff.
no, you can't have eyes put on a cat
No,
anyway.
but they said, oh, we can do something here. We can
What?
have its eyes sorted out.
But I don't think you should be allowed cats.
Why?
Not the Pilkington family.
Why not? Well,
They
they have
keep
good
dying.
lives. Yeah, I know, but they have good lives whilst they're still knocking about. It's just that we get through them.
It's a good job you're not going to have kids.
Oh, God almighty. I can't believe it. The cat that kept throwing up. So his mum shaved it. Unbelievable. Dry wipe cat.
A mate sent me a story on email about a bloke in China who has this weird illness that means he can't have his picture taken. That's not the weird bit. If he tries, his body doesn't appear in the photo.
Don't talk shit.
He has had group pictures taken and everyone appeared apart from him.
Don't talk shit.
The
That's
story
bollocks.
had a picture next to it of a family photo and it said he was stood at the back, but you couldn't see him.
Right, he wasn't in the picture.
He was in the picture.
No, he wasn't in the picture.
He's done loads of tests and stuff.
No,
on him.
I haven't done loads of tests. This is bollocks. There's no way this is scientifically possible. What's his want? Yeah, now he's wanted. Just a white bit of paper up on the police wall. Have you seen this man? What man? If you see him, tell us. You're talking shit.
Suzanne watched the film You've Got Mail tonight for about the 14th time. I don't think you could properly fancy someone without seeing them, unless you're blind. I think it's odd when blind people have affairs. Why is that odd?
Just because most stuff is based on looks, isn't it? So you think once they've found someone, they're happy with them. Stick with them.
But no, it's not true. I mean, most things are based on looks.
What I mean is when you first like meet someone and that.
Well, initially it's only looks because you don't know them.
So that's what I'm saying.
But that's a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it?
Well, no, it's just what I think. I'm not saying that's like fact or anything. I'm just thinking if you're blind, why mess about?
You're still basing on it if it's only looks that people find. What?
Yeah, I'm just saying. So why is a blind person messing about having an affair?
Because I'm saying that presumably that blind person isn't basing anything on looks.
I just alright. I mean, maybe that's not. I mean more like.
Do you want me to cross it out? Shall I cross it out? 'Cause
Well,
it's bollocks.
it's just the same way. I think I put how people. I read something in a Sunday paper once with some bloke who was going out with some woman. He ended up going out with a sister who was a twin. If you're gonna have a change, have a change.